What is win?
What's important now?
What's going on? We're glad to have you back. I don't know about y'all, but I'm still camera shy every single time that we're ready to start an episode. I feel like everything goes out the window, and I'm not a social guy anymore. Anxiety kicks in.
I think it's because we decide who's going to start the episode after the music starts. And we just start looking around each other and playing the mind game. Is it you? Is it me? And then we figure it out.
That's funny. But hey, we're glad to have Scottie Greene here with us today. Ex-Panthers tight end. He is a mean green machine. Played for Georgia football 3 years, and started out as quarterback in high school, and had a bad elbow issue, so they ended up switching positions on him. But
pigskin for miles over the mountain. You ever seen Napoleon Dynamite?
I've seen him throw a football once.
I can chunk it, not as far as I used to, but I can still spin it.
When I was student teaching with y'all, I went outside one day, and I don't remember if it was like a field day or what, but you threw it, and I was like, wow, that's pretty far. That's pretty good. But
I'm impressed.
So if you want to introduce us and kind of what you're doing now.
My name's Scottie Greene. I'm the head football coach at Wilkes High School. I also help my wife with the girls' basketball team. I'm a business teacher and math teacher. And
oh, goodness.
All the above.
How's business and math? Do you like that?
I love it. Absolutely love it. My wife does PE. There's not enough money in this world to get me to do PE.
You don't like PE?
I like playing it, teaching it, not so much because I couldn't, if I was in there playing dodgeball with them, I'd be in the game.
Yeah.
And,
I got to watch.
I know you're crying, kid, but you're still out.
It's like, gotcha.
Yeah. You get a lot of parent phone calls. My son come home today with 2 broken bones and a bruised face. What happened?
That's
Can't
correct.
get out of the kitchen.
He lost. He's a loser.
He ain't a winner. If he was a winner, he wouldn't have no broken bones.
Come full circle, haven't we?
Yes.
Apparently he couldn't dodge.
You can dodge a ridge, you can dodge a ball. Oh, goodness. Oh, man. So, you're currently coaching West Wilkes High School football, is that correct?
That is correct.
How many years have you done that?
This is my first year coaching football as far as being the head coach. I've got a long background in football because I'm originally from Allegheny County. Coached high school level there as well as coached middle school football, and then moved to West when I met my wife and coached football and basketball there, and I was the head basketball coach for 9 years. And then actually turned the head football job down twice, and God's led me back to do it. So it was always the goal to come back, but when God puts the calling on your life, I don't advise saying no.
Yeah,
100%. 100%.
How hard is that transition, especially knowing, because you said you declined it twice, how hard is that transition? I mean, obviously God put it in your heart, so you're willing and able, but was it difficult, that transition?
It was, but it was the right time. The first couple of times we were in the middle of, the first time actually, we was in the middle of a conference championship running basketball, and I'll be honest with you, I was a little selfish, and we had built that thing from the ground up, and I was wanting to see it through.
Yeah.
Second time, Allie's father was real sick, and it was bad timing, but it was one of those things that was in my heart. I knew that I was going to go back, and I just prayed about it and asked the Lord, okay, if you present this one more time, I'll do it. I'll do what you want me to do.
Wow.
Yeah. Great. And then football is something that it's always been a part of my family. My dad played all through high school. They were South Carolina AA state champs in '97, and that's not my horn. That's Dad's horn, but he'll be watching.
For Steve.
Yeah, there you go. But just like the impact that it has on a community to bring a community together over football. Like I've always loved how much in our town, our little small town of Pageland, how many people we could bring out to the games. And I remember watching Dad coach and just thinking, wow, this is great. And so that feeling of being the coach, the first time you were out there coaching, and then you had everyone in the stands, like, what was that feeling like? Were you nervous?
That's an understatement. We have kind of a unique tradition at West Wilkes High School. We have Harleys that come out and they parade the cheerleaders and then they make like a tunnel, and the whole atmosphere. I mean, I got goosebumps now talking about it. But wow. when you're in the locker room and you're doing the final touches and you are motivating the team, and I'm a I'll get you motivated.
Yeah.
I can hear your voice, and I want to hear you get a motivational speech going.
I'm a pretty emotional. I'm an emotional guy, but I'm an intense guy.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows that. I mean, I was a basketball coach, but I'm wired to be a football coach. I mean, that's how I'm wired.
Yeah.
But when you hear that first Harley crank, I mean, because where our field house, our locker room at, they parking back here when you hear it, and it just.
Dude, I'm getting pumped up just hearing about it, bro. But Harley cranks right now. We're taking laps.
But then you hear 50 to 60 of them crank. And
Bread, Nick.
but it's one of those things. It's just like we're in the middle of a big rebuild with our program because what I inherited, I mean, it was a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
In every way imaginable. You're talking about players cussing coaches, coaches cussing players, and it was whole culture change that I had to do, or that we in God.
Right.
And we cleaned that up, and we only won 2 ball games this year, but we were in every game except for one, and they were close ball games.
Yeah.
And we are on the rise.
Yeah, that's good. It's great.
But it's one of the things, like my wife alluded to this a little while ago, that she's talking about her girls have got to be. She's going to teach them to be mothers. My first job is not to win football games.
Right.
It is I've got to make them men. They got to be productive citizens. They got to be good fathers. But ultimately, I've got to lead them to Christ.
Right.
And we've got to present it. We cleaned up the language, and he wasn't going to cuss. They cussed. They had to do push-ups immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, immediately. And they knew it. And it got to the point. At first, it was butting heads. I mean, it was like beating your head against the wall.
Yeah.
Because the kids didn't know how to practice. It's like, I practice. And I'm like, no, you're going to work hard. I'm going to teach you how to work.
Right.
Football's painful.
Right.
It hurts. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest with you. You've got to have something inherently wrong with you to play football.
Yeah.
I mean, you knock the crap out of each other, and you get up and you do it all over again.
Yeah. Right.
And but we taught them how to work, and there's excitement around our program. And it's we're coming. I mean, we are coming, and it's the whole thing is the ship is turning, and it's
good.
It's going to be fun here in a couple of years. I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be really
You
good.
told me about the
I'm
pregame
coming
tradition.
to a game, dude. I'm coming.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to hear. The Harley. That's
I want to be in the locker room. I'm like, yeah. Running out with you.
And that's like what they were saying. I mean, as hyped up as you nervous as you were, man, that other team's got to be shaking in their boots.
Well, I mean, it motivates.
Coach, I can't do this today.
It motivates. Some people say, "Oh, we're the show." You just put on, like it motivates the other team. And from West High, I mean, being from another school, this whole little area, people really dislike us.
Yeah.
And this is because they don't understand what it's about, if that makes sense. I mean, because not everybody has that.
Yeah.
I mean, from a former rival school, I'm like, my gosh, that's the biggest redneck thing on the world.
Yeah.
So we tried to one-up them.
Yeah.
From the old school that I used to be at, like we tried to put racing lawnmowers out there. So, you think you redneck, get you some of this. You know?
It is. That's it right there.
And it was just one of those things, but people don't understand. Like on senior night, we played at a school and we won senior night, and I haven't seen that place. I mean, it was flat. It was rocking.
Yeah.
The atmosphere. We were playing a really good team. They got up on us, and then we come. They got up on 7-0. We kicked a field goal, and then it went back and forth, and then we scored again and intercepted 2 and scored 2, and we was putting it on them.
Yeah.
And the power went out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A balloon from senior night got up in a transformer, and boom.
Wow.
Well, the only thing that wasn't working was the lights in the stadium. But they had music playing on the PA system. I mean, it was incredible atmosphere. It was insane how that place was rocking.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they had to come back to Monday night and finish it because we couldn't get the lights back on. But it was just that's where we're headed. I mean, as far as and the kids are buying in, and we done a thing with the mustard seed, and I bought our kids little bags and we gave mustard seeds, and it actually become infectious without the school. As far as we had people making signs, and we brought it with the girls in basketball, and it's just faith. Have a bit of faith. Have faith in anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, with having faith and a lot of times if you take a program that struggled, you've got to, first thing you got to do is you got to teach them, we're capable of being here.
A buy-in.
Yeah, you got to get them to get
hard.
in. You got to get them to buy in or you'll struggle.
How hard is that buy-in, especially for because you come in, this is your first year. I know your juniors and seniors, they've been on the ladder into this thing now, and they've seen the first 2 years, and it's just how hard is it to get them to make that transition?
It's hard. It's really hard to get a senior to buy in. So this is my last year. We want to win now, Coach. Well, there's a lot of things that's got to happen before that can even remotely try to win.
Yeah.
You've got to, fundamentals and technique and work ethic and the buy-in for a senior is really hard. For the most part, we had that. But again, it's hard to sell that to a kid, say you've got to look at a bigger picture here when their time's running out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, they're not going to be on the field when the good things are going to get ready to happen.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
But they were a part of it, and they laid the foundation. And it's hard for an 18-year-old to buy into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so as a team, I believe what you're alluding to is you're getting better.
Absolutely.
It's just now getting started. Yeah. You seeing some pretty good prospects coming up?
Yes, our better talent was in our younger classes. It's our freshmen, sophomores, and we got a good 8th grade class coming. It's still the rebuild actually happens right now. We had 18 seniors, I think is what it was. It's really hard to build with 18 seniors.
Right.
So you got to play with what you got and do the best you can. But the rebuild starts after that. But it's happening. It's good stuff's happening. The climate, the culture of the school's changing a little bit. But I mean, my wife helps out a lot with that, and I've got a great wife because she supports me in what I do.
Yeah,
so,
that's 100%. That's you got to be a team.
Do you have to come up with your own plays?
Yeah.
Do you have a general play? I get that, but I mean, obviously don't.
He goes to Madden 20, the video game.
Yeah.
And he starts pulling them off the screen. That one looks good. HP toss to the right.
No, there's a lot of prep work that goes in during the season. I work about 80 hours a week.
Wow. Good.
You're a man. I went home after 40. That's why I'm not a coach.
Oh, goodness. But that because a lot of times, students are only going to buy in as much as their coaches do.
Yeah.
And if you're putting in that effort and that time and that passion, then they're either going to match it or they'll go.
Well, I agree with that, and they would know about it, too.
Yeah.
I've been here for 80 hours this week. We're going to play like we got some sense tonight.
That's hilarious.
I think the film room and the I guess what you call the workroom where you're in there with the OC and you're drawing up your plays and you're talking through what to me that's very interesting because you see these coaches and it's more than just all we see is the motivational speeches and they get ready for the big games. I mean, what is that like? I mean, is there ever a time where you're in there and you're walking through this and it's just like, man, this is a lot, or do you kind of have one of those football minds where everything's just kind of clicking, you can kind of roll with it?
It's a little bit of all the above.
Yeah,
you're just a natural at it. You just got it.
I wouldn't say that.
It's being humble.
I have to work at it.
Yeah,
because I mean, there's some really good coaches out there,
right?
And there's some really good teams, really good players. When you're facing a team that that your margin of error is nothing, I mean it's zero. And you've got to say, well, we have to play this way to give ourselves even a chance. And you sit there and you're looking at film and hours of film. Right. It's fun, but at the same time, it is crazy stressful. I mean, there's a reason why I'm bald. It has nothing to do with my wife. Even though I joke that it's my wife that makes me get bald. It has nothing to do with her. But it is very stressful. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Right. Now, when you see the fruits of your labor and when it's clicking, you're like,
yeah.
And then you're like, get you some of that.
Yeah.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
That's exactly right, man. You think you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof and you're ready to fight the world and then you get humbled in a hurry.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the game of golf. You hit a good shot and you're like, yeah, I'm Tiger Woods, and oh my gosh. I'm back to being Scottie Greene.
Yeah. I like golf for some reason. And, I tell everybody I go out there and hit awful shots for hours, but then I hit that one shot, and I'm like, "Yep, I'm coming back next week, man." And this is the best sport ever. But I get that. That's my dad. I loved watching football as a kid. I never was able to get into it, but my cousin he went to Newberry College, a little college in Newberry. He played. He was a tight end there, and he was a great athlete in our little small town. And then to see him not get much play time till his senior year, I could tell he went through some discouraged. So what do you tell a student when maybe they're not getting the amount of playtime they really. Well, I mean, what is the walking through saying? Okay, well, this is what we need you to do. And,
well, you show them what they've got to improve on, but it's ultimately them. I mean, a kid decides playing time. A coach never decides playing time.
Right.
Well, that's deep. Yeah,
I mean,
I never thought about it like that.
They've got to. I mean, you've got to perform in practice. I mean, we have a player who can't understand a concept. I mean, we teach concepts because of it's easy to adjust to.
Right.
The less thinking, the better. If I can prepare you for every situation you're going to see, there's only so many things they can do to you.
Right.
So we try to prepare for, okay, they do this, we do that. And if you have someone who can't recognize that, or they don't, or they keep making what my wife was talking about, it's not a mistake until you keep doing it.
Right.
You know, everybody messes up. I mean, the greatest in the world. I mean, Michael Jordan missed shots. Michael Jordan turned the ball over.
Right.
Key word, greatest in the world, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Not LeBron James.
Yeah.
That's what he said there.
So,
sorry.
I mean, unfortunately, he retired this week, and Tom Brady, and I'm a Buccaneer fan, and so I've been in mourning. That's why I'm wearing black, and that's our school color. But I mean, even that dude messes up.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, did you learn from it? Okay, stop doing it.
Yeah.
Stop doing it. And kids have to do that, and you got to break bad habits.
Right. Yeah. I guess I never thought about it that way. The kid decides the playing time. When he said that, like, it kind of struck a chord. A lot of times, you have parents and stuff like, why is my son not getting more playing time? And why is my daughter not getting more playing time? And it's like, it's really not me that's deciding that. Is he not putting in the effort? And I think that's it's good that you implant that. Like, you give them the chance to get more playing time. If you show that you're capable and putting in that work.
Well, football is unique too, because I think there's 88 positions.
Yeah.
Time you include special teams, I mean, they get a chance to be on the field.
Yeah.
And it takes people take it for granted. You take an extra point. Blocking up front, if you don't do your assignment, extra point gets blocked, you could lose.
Right.
Lose by a point. And that's happened to me. That is frustrating.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, if you do your job, and that's one of our big mottos too, do your job. Mm-hmm. Don't try to do anybody else's job. Do your job. And do your job. Be the star of your job. If you're a water boy, be the best water boy you can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because those things,
H2O.
those things matter.
Right.
I mean, it really matters. It's the little things that matter.
Right. Because you got to operate like a well-oiled machine, and if one little thing's off, Yeah.
Our old basketball coach had like a saying talking about like chains, and the weakest link in the chain is always the one that snaps. Yep. And then I got cut from the team.
Oh man!
So, sometimes you're the weakest link. That's just part of it. But
imagine getting that speech and you come in the next day for practice like,
CJ, your name's on the board, son. You're not. It's
You're
okay.
done.
Go home.
I'm the weak link.
Is that speech about me? Oh goodness! This is a little bit different route here, but what's the worst injury that you've seen on a foot? Because like you said, football's rough, and it's a rough sport.
I've seen some pretty gruesome ones. I've had to witness a kid break his leg and the bone come out.
Oh.
Yeah, but probably, it's painful. I couldn't imagine. Thank God I didn't have to go through it. But a lot of concussions.
Yeah.
Just seeing, we saw some. You see them on TV. You sit there and you're like, why is that dude crying? There's no crying in football.
Yeah.
But he's been rocked and he has no control of his emotions. It's.
I think
everything starts going crazy. You ain't got no wind. You're like, what's going on with me right now?
Yeah. I think one thing that you talked about the injury and stuff like that, in your opinion, not the NFL, because I think we can kind of see it, but the game, I've heard people say it's getting soft, but on a high school level, I just don't see it. But do you think do you think it's getting softer the way the rule changes are working, or do you think it's still pretty hard-nosed?
Parts of it are hard-nosed, parts of it is soft.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I graduated in 1999, so I'm old.
Whoa. Just kidding.
So,
I was born in 2004.
I was born 2001. He's the oldest.
Oldest man.
What year were you born?
I hear you.
No, I'm just picking. I'm 24.
What year were you born?
98.
98.
So
that was the fall of my senior year when you were born.
wow,
But
that's cool.
yeah, you can't. Part of it's a good thing because of the
Right.
concussion
You've
deal.
Mm-hmm.
been out of school for 25 years?
Yeah, I'm old, dude.
I'm sitting here doing the math.
We've already established this.
We've already, but like you said,
Time
I mean,
flies
these
once
are
you get
these
out.
are your players. And so a lot of the rules, especially with the concussions, it's a great thing, I believe. But like you were saying about that,
Well, some of it's good, some of it's not. Some of it, you've got people that are. It's the game.
yeah,
It's part of the game.
Right.
yeah,
I do believe that we've softened up life,
Right.
yeah,
and people don't understand that life's not easy.
Right.
That is one of the things that football teaches you. It teaches you how to work through difficulties.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Because football is hard.
yeah.
Now, do you do any? So you're the football coach. Do you have any other duties at the school?
Well, I help my wife with basketball. Football's a year-round job.
Really?
Right.
So you literally just get paid to go to school, show up, coach.
No, I'm a
No,
teacher.
no.
I'm a
he
teacher
teaches
first.
he teaches
Yeah.
math and
Oh yeah,
in
business.
business.
In business.
Yeah, I'm a teacher first, and a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of your typical prototype football coaches think they're just a football coach. I'm a teacher first.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
I was wondering.
That's what pays the bills.
yeah.
Man, I tell you what, coaching and teaching at the same time. My wife teaches at Rhonda Kleeman, and granted, it's just elementary, but like lesson plans and stuff.
It's like herding cats.
She
Now-
comes home and she'll talk about her day. I'm like, thank God I just kill bugs.
Like math, teaching math, that's football and math, you got, but I think the good thing is, and I just thought about when you said that, I mean, you want your student athletes to make good grades. You want them to succeed in the classroom first and then succeed on the field. And so I think the fact that, you're in there in class with them, and I think that really sets a better example. I think a lot of times the stereotype, like you were saying, is, you see on like a movie or a show where it's like, I don't care if he's got bad grades, put him out here. He's the best athlete we got. And I think that's, important to invest in those students.
Well, my wife alluded to it. It's a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as I want to win, it's a game.
Right.
I mean, even if you have your college athletes, your professional athletes, there's always going to be a last game.
Yeah.
And if you take everybody who wants to play at the college level, I'm going to play in the NFL. Okay, the chances of that happening, I'm not trying to crush your dream, is very small.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Yeah.
You got to have a plan for what happens afterwards. You got to get your education. And, education for people is, some people go 4 years, some people get like if one of my former players has got a 8-week welding certificate who makes $135,000 a year welding.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah, I got in the wrong line. Yeah.
Wow.
But you said it. Every position has a role as well. What this is kind of contradicting it. But what would you say is the most important position in football? Now, I'm saying
Offensive line.
Offensive line. See, I've always wanted to know that. Thank you.
Everybody says it's quarterback. Yeah, you got to have a quarterback. Your offensive line and it's a unit. It's not a player. It's a unit.
Right.
Without the offensive line, nothing happens.
That's great because I feel like the big boys don't get enough love.
Right now,
Congratulations to the
I'm
offensive
preaching
line.
that
I feel like
That's quarterback. So you got to
Yeah.
understand that's going to. And the quarterback loves those offensive
State champ, 7,000 passing yards. What was how many touchdowns? Just kidding.
483.
Did you didn't play a college sport, did you?
I had the opportunity to play all three.
Oh
And,
wow.
Yeah, I was gifted. God bless me. So yeah,
Just kidding.
it was one of those things. But I got injured.
Like you had the opportunity to go to college and NFL possibly, or
Yeah, all world league. Really the all universe league. I was the first draft pick.
First draft pick.
No, in all seriousness, I had the opportunity to play football, basketball, and baseball at the next level. And it
what'd your
wasn't
parents feed you growing up?
steroids. Nothing but steroids. But I got hurt.
Yeah.
I tore all the ligaments in my elbow, and
Oh, I was kidding about the elbow injury earlier. I nailed that. Wow, that's crazy.
That really happened.
Wow.
And it actually happened pitching, and
Tommy John.
that's what I needed, and my family couldn't afford it.
No, that stuff is expensive.
Wow.
I struck a kid out, and it popped.
Hey, they say once you get it fixed, it comes back stronger than ever, though.
Well, maybe so, but it wasn't in the cards for me. It wasn't God's plan.
Right.
Because, I've had a crazy path. I've made some bad decisions. I can't say that I haven't. But God had mercy on me, a lot of prayers or whatever else. It led me to my beautiful wife.
Yes, sir.
If it would have went a different path, I don't know that I'd have what I have now. I don't know where I'd be where I'm at now.
Right.
And so, there's a lot of songs out there. One of them's about scars. I can't remember who sings it. I think
Beautiful scars.
Yeah, but it's those scars that, God's plan. You just like, well, man, seriously, like you pray for something.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest things in the world are unanswered prayers.
Yeah.
And if I went down that path, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I mean, we have the opportunity to influence people and to go the right way, and so I'm thankful for it.
I think you mentioning that I had an uncle, and my uncle Jimbo, he went to
It's not Jimbo
Wingate.
Fisher, is it?
No, he went to
He wishes.
Wingate. He had a great high school football career, and then ended up going to Wingate College there in Monroe to play. He was a linebacker, and he was very talented. And then he got running with the wrong crowd at some point, ended up getting out, and just lost that athletic career and wasn't able to continue in that. And then the Lord brought him back, and my dad, I don't remember much about him, but my dad always says, he got saved, the Lord changed his life, and he was back in church. He was making a difference. His family was doing well, and I think he was 38 or 35, and the Lord took him, and it was his time, and I think that he always would tell Dad that the Lord had to get his attention, and I think that's the important thing is sometimes you get so engulfed in this and so engulfed in other things like that, but the mercy and the grace of God bringing you back to those moments of decisions and letting you make a different one than you made the first time.
Well, that's part of why I watch a lot of ball.
Yeah.
It drives my wife insane because I mean, it don't matter what ball's on, I'm watching it. But,
Soccer. Sorry, I thought I would.
I mean, if there's nothing else on, I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm glad you said it was soccer, not football. I do appreciate that.
Oh, gosh.
More so than you realize.
Go get a lot of hate comments on this one. I can feel it now. Just kidding.
But I mean, I like to listen to coaches talk. I like to listen to pregame stuff. I like to listen to postgame conferences and to hear what they talk about. And again, ours is what's important now. The whole win deal. Everybody's like, "Yeah, you want to win the game, yeah." But what is literally important now? Okay, what's in this moment in everyday life? We never know what's going on with kids in their everyday lives, and if you can teach them what is literally important, you can change their lives, and they can get their life back on track.
Right.
And it is. Sports are a great thing. A lot of people don't understand that, but God's in sports.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. God's in sports because you have great Christian leaders. I'm a huge Florida State fan, and Bobby Bowden. If you know anything about Bobby Bowden, his whole thing was faith, family, football, and that was how it was. And he took his kids to church. He went and got his kids out of really bad home lives, took them to church.
Yeah,
and it just, he was. To me, Bobby Bowden was the gold standard.
yeah,
Right.
The absolute solid gold standard.
yeah,
And we really try to preach that. And, we pray with our kids. And we ask if they got prayer requests and how things are, and we'll pray for them right there.
Right.
And, and I know that this is going out online, and then that's great. But if I ever get to the point where I can't pray with my kids, I've got to go.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got to go.
good.
I've got to go.
I agree with that.
100%.
I think that's the important part is like you both, you and Allie have been extremely impactful. I mean, even the time that I was with y'all for that one semester of student teaching, just the change and like the motivation and like the happiness and the joy to be there. It's not a dread or a job. It is. It puts money, it gives you money. It puts food on the table. It helps you provide. But you do it because of the passion, the Lord putting you there, and you can tell it's God's will. And
Man, we need more of it.
we
I
need
went
more
to a
godly
Christian
coaches.
school, a Christian high school, so that was kind of a thing. But in a public school system, we need more of that coaching style, both for the women's side where Miss Allie's at, and where you're at too. Just to put not push God. And I know you really can't in public school, but to display Christ through your life.
Yeah.
So,
They need it.
living
because that
example.
speaks action
Right.
speaks louder than words too.
Right.
So
It does, and like I said, we are very blessed to be where we live at.
Right.
And, we're living in the Bible Belt, and there's a lot of God-fearing people here, and I'm very,
Right.
very thankful for that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, hey, we're glad that you come on and joined us today, you and Allie. And we didn't try and get you too many difficult, hard questions and ask you who your worst player was and your least favorite. But maybe we'll bring you back on and we'll do a special interview. But no, I'm glad. Best of hope and luck in next year, and pray that God do marvelous things through y'all continually. And praying for your family. And I hope Ella eats all those sweets tonight and stay up real late. So
Go West.
That's exactly right. Go West.
Whoa.
I'm persuaded. I'm persuaded. I don't live up here, but I'll vote for West.
But it's been
different ones.
There's West Wilkes, Wilkes Central, East Wilkes, and North Wilkes, which I don't even know.
One of the Blackhawks.
That'd be West Wilkes. That's us.
Okay, all right.
So.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Well, maybe gained a few fans today, but it's been good to have y'all on, and we'll see y'all next week. Stay out of trouble, and stay in prayer.